Ladies and gentlemen, this is Abdullah from Freedom for All. Today, I want to talk about something I never thought I was going to talk about on this channel. For the last couple of years, war has been a trending topic on media. In fact, I even was a bit disturbed seeing many things about war that took place in recent times. War, as you know, is something that affects millions of people around the world, causing pain, suffering, and destruction. But war is also something we can get rid of if we understand the true nature of ourselves. I want to share with you some quotes of various mistakes. I would also go into the law of assumption, which teaches us to use our imagination to create the experience we desire and how to transcend the conflicts and the divisions that separate us from each other. But before I go into the law of assumption, I want to share with you a quote of Paul Valéry, a French poet and philosopher of 18th century, who said, "War is a place where young people who don't know each other and don't hate each other kill each other based on decisions made by old people who know each other and hate each other, but don't kill each other." It's actually clear that the warriors in the wars are the pawn of the chessboard their authorities are running. Soldiers of the wars are also human beings, but they also seem to forget about their true nature because of various factors such as judgment, politics, history, religion, patriotism, racism, etc. I want to tell you that none of these things are bigger than who we really are, for we are one infinite being, and not a single thing in our life should be compromised when we know who we really are. Besides, things like politics, religion, history, and patriotism are not bad, and they do not contradict our true self. Our judgment, our conclusion, based on the things we see with our eyes, impact our lives, and we seem to keep growing by accepting the bad things we experience, instead of realizing the world is a mirror of our own imagination. As you know, Neville Goddard said, "The world is a mirror, forever reflecting what you are doing within yourself." We as humans seem to get unconscious of the being we really are. And perhaps this is why there are conflicts in this world. Speaking about conflicts, Neville Goddard once said, "In spite of all the organizations in the world trying to organize peace on earth, there are wars forever and forever. The conflicts in man produce conflicts in society." I recently heard that an international organization called United Nations asked the war authorities to stop, or at least to take a break from the war, but nobody seems to be responding to them. Not just them, there are other organizations too which are trying to stop the wars of the world, but unable to do it because they come up with the arguments. The war authorities come up with the counter-arguments. Journalists make biased, unbiased, or neutral contents. Historians come up with analysis and counter-analysis. Warriors keep battling, and innocent civilians keep suffering. This is war. This is just war, a futile attempt to impose one's will on another, a tragic waste of life that only breeds more hatred and sorrow and ignores the common bond of humanity, a dreadful scourge that shatters the dreams and hopes of many. However, you have seen Neville Goddard mentioning conflicts of men produce conflicts in society. We may see the wars in the world, but the real war takes place inside of us, even if we are unaware of our inner conflicts. War is the result of our own inner conflicts, our own fears, doubts, anger, resentment, jealousy, hatred, and so on. By unconsciously falling for these negative emotions, we automatically keep reacting to the world and go after judgment and analyze negative experiences more and more, which ends up in experiencing more negative experiences. Imagination is the only reality that builds the world we live. So if we want to end the war, we have to start with ourselves first. We have to resolve our own inner conflicts and replace them with peace, love, joy, gratitude, and forgiveness. We have to imagine the best for ourselves and for others, and feel it as if it is already true. We have to realize that we all are connected, that we all are one. But how do we do that? How do we achieve an internal state of peace? Neville gave us a simple suggestion, which is to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This means that we have to act internally as if we already have what we want, as if we already live in a peaceful world. We have to feel the peace within us and let it radiate outward. We have to be in the peace we want to see in the world, even though the outer world shows the opposite things. I found another fascinating quote about war which comes from Rumi. He said, "Every war and every conflict between human beings has happened because of some disagreements about names. It is such an unnecessary foolishness, because just beyond the arguing there is a long table of companionship set and waiting for us to sit down. What is praised is one, so the praise is one too. Many jugs being poured into a huge basin. All religions, all this singing one song. The differences are just illusions and vanity. Sunlights look a little different on this wall than it does on that wall, and a lot different on this other one. But it is still one light. We have borrowed these quotes, this time and space personalities from a light. And when we praise, we're pouring them back in." Rumi saw war as an unnecessary foolishness. War is caused by our ignorance of our true nature. We think that we are separated from each other, that we have different names, labels, identities, beliefs, opinions, etc. We argue and fight over these superficial differences, forgetting that we all are parts of the same light, the same source, the same essence. We forget that we all are spiritual beings having a human experience. So, if we want to end the war, we have to remember who we really are. We have to see beyond the appearances and the forms and recognize the spirit within ourselves and others. We have to celebrate our diversity and uniqueness, but also respect our unity and harmony. We have to praise the one light that shines through all of us. I hope these quotes inspire you to think differently about war and peace. I hope they encourage you to imagine lovingly and peacefully for everyone instead of hating and judging. I hope they remind you that the real you are not a soldier or a leader of war, but a dreamer and a friend of peace. As Neville said, if one imagines unlovely for another, they are going to produce them, not in the other, but in themselves. So let us imagine lovely for ourselves and for others. Assume there is no one to hate. Let us create peace in our hearts and in our world. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please check out another video where I covered the legendary song of John Lennon called Imagine. It is a beautiful song that expresses the vision of a world without war. Until next time, always remember to let go of your war things and embrace love, for you are loved in the infinite sea of light.